The Inquisitors were an organization of Force-sensitive operators under the Galactic Empire. The Inquisitors were tasked with hunting down the remaining Jedi throughout the galaxy following the destruction of the Jedi Order. They were also in charge of killing any political dissidents and retrieving Force-sensitive children as Project Harvester. And they were governed by Darth Vader and led by the Grand Inquisitor, and the Inquisitors are as followed. The second sister, formerly known as Trilla Sunduri, the Jedi Padawan to Sarah Junda. She was captured and subjected to torture by the Empire, allowing the dark side of the Force to transform her into the second sister. And then there was the third sister, Reva Savander. Only a Jedi youngling before being transformed into an Inquisitor, she's also the only Inquisitor to keep her real name, unlike everyone else who had to abandon their names and become Inquisitors, and as to why, I don't know why she was able to keep her real name. The fourth sister, formerly Lynn Rakish, once a Jedi herself, we don't know how she was put into the Inquisitor program, but she did recruit Barriss Offee during the start of the Jedi Purge and Rise of the Empire, and was most likely turned before the end of the Clone Wars and trained everyone else. There was the fifth brother with no former name on record. He was once a Jedi, but he always believed that he was stolen and lied to join the Jedi Order, and at some point during the reorganization of the Galactic Republic into the Galactic Empire, he willingly joined the Inquisitors. The sixth brother was formerly known as Bill Valen, a former Jedi who was inducted into the Inquisitor program, and if I'm not mistaken, this is also the Inquisitor from Tales from the Jedi, but I may be wrong about that. The seventh sister also had no former name on record, but she was also a Jedi and we don't know her master, but she was inducted into the Inquisitor program. The eighth brother also didn't have a former name, but states that he was a Jedi and joined the Inquisitors after the fall of the Republic. The ninth sister, formerly known as Masana Tide, she was a Jedi that was captured and subjected to torture and manipulation before falling to the dark side and undergoing training by the Grand Inquisitor to join the Inquisitors. The 10th brother was formerly known as Precept Dib, and as a former Jedi Master who lost faith in the Order after a botched operation, he returned to the Jedi Temple and attempted to kill Mace Windu. He was sentenced to prison and re-education, but during his imprisonment, the Republic and Jedi Order fell, and he willingly joined the Inquisitors and was more than welcome to join them and hunt down the remaining Jedi. As for 11 and 12, we don't know anything about them for Inquisitors, but if you know something about them, please feel free to comment them down below. But the 13th sister was formerly known as Iskat Akaris, a former Jedi Knight who willingly joined the Inquisitors and was the main focus of Rise of the Red Blade. There was also Merrick, who we know was an Inquisitor with little backstory to him, but we don't know if Merrick was his real name or just his Inquisitor name, or if he was a Jedi or originally a Sith warrior. His character still remains a mystery. There was also a number of unnamed Inquisitors, most likely still in training and haven't earned the names brothers and sisters within the Inquisitors, and the Inquisitor that I presume was the sixth brother from Tales from the Jedi is still more or less a mystery and is kind of muddy in the water on who he actually was. And like him, Merrick was there from the start, and their origins are again still a mystery, and of course Barriss Offee was an Inquisitor but left that order as well, and I wonder how many others left the Inquisition. But there was also the Grand Inquisitor, the Master of the Inquisitors, a title used by the highest ranking Inquisitor of the Galactic Empire and leader of the Inquisitors. From what we know, there has only been one Grand Inquisitor, and he was a former Jedi Temple guard, having no former name on record, and is enshrouded in mystery. These Jedi hunters finished off what was left of the Jedi Order during the reign of the Empire. They would slaughter Jedi, but no one really notable. They were in charge of taking care of Jedi Knights, apprentices, Padawans, and younglings who survived, but really didn't have a notable name. They kept some of their Jedi trophies in Fortress Inquisitors, and that included Terra Nuble, the High Jedi Counselor Coleman Cash, and Jedi Youngling Ferris and Valerie Tide. However, most of these were likely killed by the Grand Inquisitor or Vader like Eeth Koth. And typically when meeting a high-skilled Jedi, the Inquisitor's job was to find them, and it was Vader's or the Grand Inquisitor's job to finish them off. The Force Sister also killed Barriss Offee when looking for a Force-sensitive youngling as part of Project Harvester, and Project Harvester was a project to capture Force-sensitives and turn them into Imperial agents, skilled in the ways of the dark side of the Force, all the while trying to prevent the Jedi Order from recovering them and restarting their Jedi Order. It was an operation kept in secret on an installation on the planet Arcanus, which was connected to the planet's Imperial headquarters on the Arcanus Academy, and Project Harvester started when bounty hunter Cad Bane stole the Jedi holocron of Force-sensitive children across the galaxy during the Clone Wars, and was most likely connected to Project Necromancer on Mount Tantus for Dr. Hemlock's experiments. This was most likely the origins for the unknown Inquisitors in Marak, that they were Force-sensitive younglings who were captured before the Jedi could get to them, and interestingly enough, when Eth Koth was killed by Vader, his son was also taken as Project Harvester. And I wonder how captured younglings were divvied up between the Inquisitor program and Project Necromancer, but that's kind of besides the point. Inquisitors were typically identified by their double-bladed spinning red lightsabers and their black armor and helmets with Force modulators. They also had scythe transports that boasted harsh angles and an intimidating frame for the Inquisitors flying them. When they landed, you knew Inquisitors were flying them, and they were typically made exclusively for Inquisitors, but Director Krennic is the only person in the Imperial Army who flew one that wasn't an Inquisitor to our knowledge. And they also had a base of operations, Fortress Inquisitoris on the moon of Nur, close to Mustafar and Fortress Vader. And Fortress Inquisitoris was a heavily armored underwater stronghold concealed within the black seas of the shadowy moon of Nur. Their stronghold served as the central seat of the Imperial Inquisitor program. The existence of the fortress was hidden from the majority of the Empire to maintain the public perception of peace and security. In reality, it is where the Empire took Jedi that they captured and turned them to the dark side using brutal torture, turning them into Inquisitors. And the Citadel Tower was the center of the fortress, and it towered over the rest of the sea and was the only part of it that was above sea level. The inner areas of the fortress contained several control stations that monitored the stronghold and opened and closed the underwater entrance ports, alongside with the meeting room for the Inquisitors where they strategized and tracked down any known Jedi sightings. They had their Jedi Tomb, which was trophies for the Inquisitors, Imperial dojos for Imperial training, and of course they had a prison block with interrogation chambers. But before Fortress Inquisitoris was built, the Inquisitors' headquarters was a skyscraper maintained by Darth Sidious in the Works District of Coruscant. Interestingly, this is the place that Dooku would visit Palpatine during the Clone Wars, and it was formerly known as Lemurge Power Building. And a chase involving two rogue Inquisitors and Darth Vader's occurred on Coruscant, and they subsequently had to remove the presence of the Sith and Inquisitors on Coruscant to again maintain the public perception of peace and security, and Fortress Inquisitoris was built. The Inquisitors also had their own line of stormtroopers known as Purge Troopers, and I'll be doing a separate video on them. But ultimately, the legacy of the Inquisitors is muddy waters. Jedi turned to the dark side to hunt down what was left of their Jedi Order, being kept in line with fear and punishment, and many of them, if not all of them, had internal conflicts of what they and the galaxy has become. Once a beautiful republic is now an empire. The Jedi Order were keepers of the peace, and now Inquisitors were hitmen for the Dark Lord. And all the Inquisitors met their end one way or another, being killed by remaining Jedi like Cal Kestis, Ahsoka, and the Rebellion. And Darth Maul also killed a couple in an interesting twist of fates. And Ahsoka killed the last Inquisitor Marok in the Ahsoka series, finally bringing an end to the Inquisitors' crusade. And I don't know if we'll see more Inquisitors in the future of Star Wars, as chapters of the Rebellion, Empire, and Clone Wars are wrapping up, focusing on the New Republic and beyond. But if there's one thing the Inquisitors will be remembered by, it is long live the Empire. So with that, subscribe if you would like, comment down below, and until next video, goodbye.